Jimmy. Jimmy. Jim James, son!
So we've got a live one on our hands. I couldn't help but notice this forlorn Chevy Prizm with a big fat dent in the front sitting in this person's driveway with expired tags. And I'm gonna go talk to them right now and see if maybe work a deal on that Chevy Prizm. You know how I love me a Prizm and or Corolla, so let's hope. Well, I went inside and talked to the owner, and we're gonna try to work something out. We can't even get it to start, so hopefully we can get it to start and we can work out a deal. It's a little crunched, but that's okay. So yeah, let's see what we can work out. All right, well, after talking to him for about an hour, I love talking to people randomly, you know, showing up to their houses uninvited and trying to buy their cars from them. We actually came to a deal, $650 for the Prizm. So I gotta go get some money from the bank. He's got to go get the title, and I just bought me a Prizm. So I will talk to you guys while I'm driving it home. Okay, we have achieved Geo Prizm. We did end up working out a slightly better price of $600 because the battery was flat dead. I had to put gas in it, it wouldn't start, etc., etc. We've only got about 100,000 miles on this thing. Look at that, 109,000 miles. Oh, baby. The alignment's a hair off. It wobbles. I have to keep the high beams on or the headlights do not work. But come on now, 600 bucks. I'm all ears. So let's drive her home and see if she makes it. I've got another probably 15-20 minutes to make it home. The sun is setting, but she does drive quite good. Well, after driving for a while, it drives pretty well. Other than like the pull, which it has obviously from the accident up front, it runs absolutely fine. It's got plenty of pickup and go. The temperature's staying right where it should. It's quite loud in here, but I mean, it is a early 2000s economy car, so I'm not that surprised. There's a rattle from the door over here, and of course this door handle's broken. Doesn't look like it, but it is. There you go. That's broken. I wouldn't put it past it. I mean, have I ever purchased a Corolla with a working interior door handle on this side? The answer is no. No. I've been buying Corollas for like almost 15 years, and I've never had one with a working door handle. But hopefully this is a nice uneventful ride home, and me and Johnny Law don't have to shake hands or wieners or whatever we have to do nowadays. I have someone following me in my car, that way if anything does happen, I won't be too up shit creek. But yeah, enough wombling, I will meet you guys at home. The Prizm did make it home without any kind of incident. I did have to get gas, but it ran and drove just fine other than this tire having a wobble to it. Gee, I wonder what happened. Hey fathead, how's it going? So the thing is that it impacted something. It's got this giant, like the Iron Giant just took a bite out of it. I still can't figure out what happened 100%. The seller's tail was unusual. The thing is when you look down the front of the vehicle, it gives this optical illusion that the body has shifted. And after looking at this a little closer, I actually think that it has not shifted, and what's actually happened is this fender has gotten pushed in and curved out, like it's bowed now. And as a result, you can see it has actually pulled away, and the guy actually did that himself. He screwed the fender back into place, thanks a lot. And when it bowed out, it ripped the metal, the sheet metal, clean off of the screws, and it gives it this huge gap, which makes it look like the frame is, you know, bent. I don't think the frame is bent. I think it's just an optical illusion. And the reason I say that is because when you come over here to this side of the hood, the gap is pretty much perfect. Yeah, it comes in like a hair right here, but you know, a hair versus what, 4 inches, 5 inches? I think most of this gap is due to the hood being buckled up and like making this hump, as you can see here. So the hood is actually latched right now. And so what you're seeing is a literal gap you can just stick your hand in there because of this fender being bowed and the hood being bowed out as well. So I'm thinking if I just go ahead and put the hood on, bolt the fender down, get the front bumper and headlight, everything all aligned, it should more or less align. I'm still going to take it to work and have them put it on the frame machine and check it out, but I really think we're going to get away with it. Most of the time I wouldn't buy a car in this condition, but this one is for me. I've been looking for one of these for a while, and the deal was too good to pass up, with 109,000 miles. So the second issue that I was having is trying to find parts for this damn thing, because the Prizms are all gone. I don't know where they went, but they all vanished, and none of them are in the junkyard because they're fairly reliable vehicles. It's a Corolla after all. And everyone keeps telling me, oh, you can just, you know, graft the front of a Corolla onto this. You can't. The hood's not the same, the bumper's not the same, the headlights aren't the same, the brackets, the corner lenses, the fenders, none of it is the same. You know, I had to go through hundreds of pages of reading on forums and online and doing actual measurements in real life to come to the conclusion that these parts are like 1.5 inches wrong. So if you look at the headlight here, the Prizm headlight tapers to a roundness here. The Corolla headlight has like an oblong that goes more out to about here. Same thing with the hood. The hood has a cutout for the Geo Prizm Chevy Prizm logo, whereas the Corolla hood is, excuse me, straight across. Same thing with the fenders. So the corner marker here, which I don't even know how this damage occurred because all the damage is over there. So I'm gonna have to have this, you know, fixed up at the same time. I think they can fix this fender without having to find another one. But anyway, my point is that this here comes to a finer point on the Corolla. I'll put some images up to, you know, explain my position here. So I searched all over the land for this, you know, car, essentially, looking all over the land, and I finally found one in Tucson, and I went and I pulled the parts off of it. Again, it was a pick and pull, lucky me. And for $150, I was able to get the hood, the fender. I was able to find a brand new old stock bumper from GM online for, no joke, $18. The shipping is where they got me on that. It was $121 to have it shipped. I also found the replacement headlight, a set of brand new corner lights, and I had to replace this rim because when you drive, the rim sort of wobbles. So coming up next, basically, I'm going to strip the entire front off of this vehicle and see how everything aligns. Like I said, still going to work to get, you know, checked on the frame machine, the frame rack, pulled if it has to, and painted to match. It's also going to need a windshield. I don't know if you can see where Fathead's big fat head is. Ain't that right? Yeah, that's right. There's a big old crack in the windshield. Look at that. Something completely smashed the windshield. I don't know what it is. Ain't that right, Fathead? But something has smashed the windshield right there. Right there. So yeah. But that is the saga of me, you know, having to look for parts for this thing. I didn't realize they were that much different. It's the same car, more or less. The same problem happens when you go to the rear of the vehicle and you notice that the trunk lid here is different. The Corolla does not have this like ovalness, this oblongness to the taillights, and the taillights look completely different. I'm also missing the Prizm logo, and judging by the paint difference here to here, at some point this thing has received a new trunk lid, hence the missing Prizm logo. But the paint is all there. I mean, the paint is immaculate on this vehicle. It shines very nicely. This is just dust. So without that much more yapping, and I'm sure people are going to ask me about this, I use this to haul stuff. That's all it's ever been used for. It's never been shown on the channel, but there it is. 99 Ford Explorer XLS. So let's go ahead and see what I got. So there's all the stuff, the hood, the fender, and way over there is the tire and rim. So without further ado and without any more yakking, let's go ahead and start putting stuff on. The teardown has begun. I did get this fender off, it's over there. And we have the new fender and hood over here. Honestly, it looks like this has escaped mangling pretty well. This is just a hair mangled. Even this is still straight. Even this is still straight. And if you can see here, none of this structure has been damaged. There's no bending. I think this is like a hair bent, but none of the unibody substructure has received any kind of serious bend to it. This is supposed to have this curb here. This has a bend. I'm starting to sound like Doug DeMuro. This. You know, on a side, that guy has the biggest tongue I've ever seen. Every time I watch his videos, I just get distracted by how massive his tongue is. It's like he has like a cat sleeping in his mouth. This thing takes up like 99.9% of his mouth. Anyway, weird thoughts aside, this crash bar, definitely has received an impact. And if the bumper cover and the fender and the hood fit and it doesn't look misaligned, I'm just gonna put the bumper over that and say, oh well, I never saw that. It's my car, so I don't really mind. You can see the radiator support is nice and straight. Look at that. So I think we're going to get away with this. I'm going to go ahead and take the hood off now and see if we can bolt everything back up to a fashion where I can at least drive it. So that is the replacement fender and hood attached to the vehicle, and the front bumper completely removed to get an idea of what I'm looking at here. Now, from the front, I can absolutely see that this crash bar is pushed not only in a little bit, but up a little bit. I also kind of feel the same way about this right here. I can almost sort of see that tweak right there? It doesn't do that on that side. It does have the hump. Right there, but it is not, I don't know if you can see this, it's like this. It should be like this. See, that one is flat. So this is gonna have to be tweaked downward, and this fender mount here does not quite line up where it should, so this is gonna have to be pulled forward. Again, that's why it's going to a frame machine and not to my human eyeballs, because I have apparently terrible, oops, what was that? Nobody knows. I don't know why I said we, the royal we.
Hi, the royal we.
Have terrible visual, alignment. So when I shut the hood on this, right, come on then. It does latch, okay. The gap here is normal up until about there, at which point it slides all the way over. And we are facing the same issue here. The gap is normal until it slides over. So either the hinges are biased that way, or more than likely this little hump has caused it to sort of shift over. We also have the same issue here on the door, where we have a semi-large gap on the fender. So those two things are going to have to be aligned for me. Another thing we have is this dent, which somebody has bondoed over, which is going to have to be repaired before it can be painted. This is the only hood and fender I could find, or I would choose a different hood. Trust me, I'm not amused by that. We have the replacement rim that's going to go on here. I checked and they are the same, so that's all good. The tire on this is just beautiful. I mean, look at that. Man. Even the year is not so bad. This is a 2021. Looks like April of 2021. And it even came with a little Geo thingy. I'm gonna have to find the rest of those now. I really like the way that looks. The headlights are coming in, I think, tomorrow, and so is the front bumper and the corner markers, because it's missing not one, but both corner markers. You know, it's strange, I didn't notice that this fender was so mangled. Otherwise, I probably would have gotten the other fender as well. I may still go back and do that just to have less overall work for the painters. I also noticed now that there's a slight indent here. Man, I'm just noticing everything. Okay, let's stop looking at this before I drive myself to madness. Anyway, so this is what it's looking like now. In the next shot, you're probably going to see me installing all the front end bits, like the bumper and the headlights and all that. And then I'm going to go ahead and take it down to the painting guys and see what kind of magic they can work, because this is as far as I can take this. So let's head over to another day. So I spent this afternoon, a couple days later, putting the pieces back together. We got the bumper on, we got the corner light, and this headlight in place. This alignment is just hideous right here, and it definitely needs to go to the frame machine, because it's just, look at that. My goodness gracious. Even this hood looks a hair bent right here. So I'm really not in love with this hood. If I can find another one within the next week, I'm just going to snatch it up, because this one I just don't like. I just don't like it. But you can see that the vehicle is back together. It's loosely back together, and I use that term loosely back together. I did end up getting another fender for this side. It's in the back seat, because I don't know if he's going to be able to fix that fender, and I'd rather him just, do what's easiest for him, because he is helping me out quite a bit with this. I also went back to the junkyard and got the rest of the center caps, because I had one but not the rest. So that's going to make a complete set. Once I get it back, I will paint the rims, put the center caps back on it, and it will look spiffy, if that's what you want to call it. I'm also going to have to find a windshield for this because the windshield is just, it's just scorched. Something hit it right here and just shattered it. So it is going to need a windshield. That's no problem whatsoever. I guess since this is the last moment I'm going to have a hold of it for maybe like a month until they take it to the body shop, I'm going to do a little bit of adjustment on the inside, put the sun visor, put the door handle, a couple other things, and then we will fast forward to about a month from now when the car hopefully looks a hell of a lot better. So let's go forward in time. And through the magic of time and video editing, here we are a month later. The Prizm has been finished. They did a very nice job. The paint matches near perfect. The gaps are lined up really nice, and you can even tell it passed its inspection for another year. Good thing I'm the state inspector, right? Actually, this car is now considered a classic automobile because it's 25 years or older. This means in the state of Texas, it does not have to pass an inspection. It just needs a visual inspection. So I just took it there. They looked at it, said, yep, that's a car. Passed. I even put a new old stock Geo emblem because it has the Chevrolet logo. I just like the way these look. I just like the Geo emblem better. I don't know, it just brings back some kind of like nostalgia for me. But take a look. The gaps look really nice. They did a good job with the gaps. I think the gap is just a little bit wide, but you know, that's to be expected. It looks nice down here. They did a good job painting the bumper and aligning the headlights. They even did the pinstripe to match the original pinstripe. I mean, like, identically. That's nice. If we go around this side, again, the gap is a tiny bit wide, but nothing that would really make me cry. So I think she came out absolutely beautiful. In fact, I even sprung to have the rear bumper fixed. If you remember, the rear bumper was caved in. Look at that. Even went ahead and fixed the rear bumper. Isn't that nice? And we put the Prizm logo on there. I think it came out pretty good. So that's probably going to be it for this particular video. I did do a little bit of repair on the inside. I found out the ignition switch is not for this car because it doesn't match the trunk and the doors, and that's why it's constantly dinging, even with the key out of the ignition and the lights off. I did change the stereo to a non-garbage stereo like that one, and we are going to do some amp and sub wiring in here, but that's, like I said, going to be for another video. I do not have the time nor the money to do all of that at this moment. So that's going to be the end of this particular part 1 of the Prizm rebuild. In the next video, we'll focus on steam cleaning the interior, putting all the parts back together, installing the amp and subs, getting in alignment, changing the struts, probably changing the tires. But like I said, that's coming up next. If anyone wants to buy that Toyota Previa, I'm selling it $2,000. It's not that bad for all the work I've put into it. In fact, I've probably put more than that into it. I just do not have the space. We have a Firebird, I have 2 Corollas, the Camry, I have stuff everywhere. So thank you guys for watching. I always appreciate it, and I will catch you in part 2. Bye. Oh, aren't you guys just some Halloween little babies? Oh, so cute. Got the mommy kitty. Hi. You're so cute. And the little baby. You're so cute. All right, you guys. I gotta go back inside. But you guys have a good time.